Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we are checking out the final preview for Romeo is a Dead Man, and today we are being graced by IGN. Once again, thank you very much for the video. Make sure you drop a like on their channel. And without further ado, let's begin.
This dude is fucked up.
Oh,
You can't always describe Guichi Suda and Grasshopper Manufacturers games, but you know them when you see them. Examples like Let It Die and Lollipop Chainsaw.
Not gonna lie, was not a fan of Let It Die. I never had the chance to play Lollipop Chainsaw because I didn't have a PS3 when it was out, and by the time I got a PS3, I kind of lost interest. I loved the aesthetic and art design, and I did watch the full entire playthrough of Lollipop Chainsaw, and it looked really fun.
Might not resemble each other on paper, but spend any length of time with them, and their specific high-energy, off-the-wall style, brash tone, and a script that's just wall-to-wall one-liners, and you'll see that they could only have really come from one place. Just a few minutes in with their latest...
Okay, let's do a quick look. We got a weapon switch. We have, I'm guessing, 2 melee weapons, and then one long-range weapon, and then that's a pill to regen life. You can tap L1 to change what you have over here, I'm guessing.
Slasher, Romeo is a Dead Man,
L1,
and
or maybe L1 to activate.
yeah, the boys are definitely back in town. But after playing the first 2 chapters, the latest mad science experiment of an action game helmed by Suda51 takes some big steps forward in art design and presentation that really raises the
Okay.
wow, I didn't see that coming bar. Even the action, though not revolutionary, feels like a real
This looks like a no jumping game, no aerial combat whatsoever.
commitment has been made to evolve the studio's image from crazy fun games to watch clips from to crazy fun games to spend countless hours with.
My name is Dead Man. I'm off. Take off!
There are a lot of Grasshopper-style things that are to be expected in Romeo is a Dead Man. Relentless, absurdist humor, gore galore, killing the past, etc. With the signature erratic tone set as far
I wonder how they're gonna do it. Because there is going to be time travel in the game, and are we gonna be doing like you travel in time, which is why the events are happening as they should be, or is this like you're altering time and creating different timelines? I'm also wondering what this is, because I've seen this 2 times now, and this as well. I thought this was a combo meter, but it's not a combo meter because he's hitting people and it's not going up. Sorry,
far back as Killer 7 feels turned up to 11 here, like in the breakneck pace at which exposition gets sort of vomited at you. Scenes that change from focused narration to chaotic combat and more is pretty intense. It's not necessarily hard to follow, but more than once in my 2 or so hours with the game that I have to take a minute or two to simply digest what the hell was going on.
Combat looks a little bit slower than I thought it would be for the katana, because he has a katana and a greatsword, so I'm expecting the greatsword to be slow. I would like a bit faster combat with that katana, but I'm hoping that the faster paced combat is going to be for the gauntlets.
Dead.
You play as the titular Romeo, who does have himself a Juliet, but the only way this game showed any resemblance to your favorite play from high school is that both of them die. Romeo
That was not my favorite play from high school. You don't know me.
is a deputy sheriff who gets his face ripped off by an interdimensional zombie ghoul and is transformed into some sort of space sheriff Goblin-style superhero that keeps him in a state of undeath and is drafted into some sort of space-time division of the FBI to hunt the sort of monsters that tried to kill him. Juliet, who arrived in Romeo's little Appalachian town through mysterious circumstances, is actually some kind of extra-dimensional being.
Obviously, and so essentially I work for the FBI and they want me to kill her because she's actually evil, but our love is going to be the thing that brings everything together.
Who seems to keep popping up in other people's dimensions and mucking up the place, and is one of Romeo's first targets. That's the simple version, completely glossing over things like the fact that the guy who saved Romeo is allegedly his time-traveling grandfather,
That looks like Neil Patrick Harris.
who is also killed by face eaters but now just lives in a patch on Romeo's jacket, for starters. Romeo is a Dead Man story.
Honestly, I know a lot of people don't like the talking companion in action games, but I rather like it because one thing I don't like about modern games is they take you away from the combat so they can start just vomiting exposition at you for like an hour straight. I would much rather have a companion with me, give me exposition as I'm traveling through the game, because obviously it's not going to be like action, 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 action non-stop. There's going to be some lull times in between that action, and to have a companion with you there giving you the lore. If you're not paying attention, whatever, you know, but like, if you're paying attention, you're playing the game for the first time, I feel like that's way more appealing than just another cutscene.
Might be among the most ridiculous and far-flung of Suda & Co.'s gamography, but it holds tightly to the fourth wall-breaking sense of humor and over-the-top characters that define the studio. It's relatively easy to follow, and told in such a way to purposefully
Damn! Smash.
cast doubt on if what you're attempting to decipher is even real. But it is engaging, if not always well written or acted. Even then, it's told through a collage of mixed media that really kept me enthralled.
Oh, is that another Juliet? So you're gonna go through time and you're gonna have to hunt down alternate Juliets. That's pretty cool. It kind of makes me think of the movie The One with Jet Li, where one Jet Li goes through a bunch of dimensions, killing other Jet Lis. I'm with it, man. So we got original Julia, we got buff Julia, then we got giant witch Julia, which is definitely gonna cause a lot of issues. And then we have first rotter Julia, and then we got poison ivy Julia. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming at the very least we're going to be going to 4 different time zones, timelines, time eras. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Okay, Romeo, it's time to fight!
The opening sequence is a flyover of a tilt-shifted, handmade diorama. From there we transition into a standard cutscene rendered in full 3D as one would expect, and then the next scene might be a vividly detailed comic strip. Inside levels, small televisions appear with pixelated animations on them that serve as portals, transporting you to spaces that look more like the Street Fighter training room with a stock jungle image in the background. When teleporting to your FBI HQ, a ship called The Last Knight, you navigate it like a top-down 32-bit Sega Genesis-style RPG. When you die,
and you know, not only is that fun and cute and whatever, it's also really intelligent because it allows them to take the money that they would have spent, the time and the money that they would have spent making the FBI HQ an area that probably will be, people spend the least amount of time in that area. They took that extra time, they took that extra money, and they probably injected into the gameplay, into the environment, into the music, into the performance of the game. So like, this is a genius financial move as well.
the game over screen is an FMV of a human-like prosthetic face getting melted off. It's all jarring and frankly pretty awesome. Grasshopper games have a bit of a reputation for having stories and presentation given texture through tons of references to pop culture, classic literature, and raucous music, but not having the same sort of depth when it comes time to beat ass. The misunderstood killer is dead excluded. Romeo is a Dead Man isn't Devil May Cry, but it has a lot of layered systems that create a combat experience that I really came to like quite a bit. You have basic light and heavy attacks with their own attack strings that can be stopped early but not canceled out of with a dodge or something like that, so every swing is a commitment. When surrounded by enemies, even the simple cannon
Was that a spear? Dual wield
fodder basic zombies, it can be tough to make it out unscathed since these attacks don't stun the enemies very
dual wield that turns into a spear? That's dope.
reliably, so every swing is a commitment. When surrounded by enemies, even the simple cannon fodder basic zombies, it can be tough to make it out unscathed since these attacks don't stun the enemies very reliably.
You know what? This game is gonna play like Kazan or God of War 2018 God of War Ragnarok, where it's an in-between the full character action game and the full Souls-like game. So you're gonna have faster combat and combos available to you, spells and magic that run off of a cooldown instead of mana. but you're not gonna just be able to like juggle an enemy infinitely like you would in Devil May Cry. You're gonna have to be strategic to a certain extent, and like obviously once you get to a certain point where you can just overpower people, it's gonna feel more like a character action game. But this is part of the new breed of character action games where it's like an in between Souls and in between pure character action.
Meaning they're often free to slap you as you slap them. I spent a lot of time
Sorry for pausing again, but I feel like the in-between character action game defines itself with the lack of a jump button. Because you have Kazan, the first Berserker, no jump, but a very high octane, high fast pace, a very fast paced gameplay. But you still need to go in with strategy. God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, very cool games, very dope, good combos. You still don't have that jump, so you lose a one dimension of combat. And now we have Romeo the Dead Man that will be jumping into this category as well. I would even put Neo 1 and 2 into that category too.
I'm trying to stay on the outside of mobs, picking away at the edges with melee attacks or shots with guns at range, and avoiding getting overwhelmed until I built up enough of my blood meter through my attacks to use a special Bloody Summer attack for big damage.
Okay, so I'm guessing this on the top corner of here's your blood meter. 1 is the amount of times you can use your ability. I'm assuming that you start with 1, and then at some point you'll get more. This is new as well. We have a compass. I'm assuming this is a healing station or checkpoint. These are your objectives, potential quests. And this is our currency.
Damage. This pretty simple loop was a bit of a letdown for me early on, as Chapter 1 lacked attack and enemy variety, or really any challenge or pushback at all. And if I would have stopped my time after slaying the pretty straightforward end-level boss, a towering giant spawned after a Juliet clone,
like
really
Monday.
any challenge or pushback at all. And if I would have stopped
Every day is like Monday. Okay.
my time after slaying the
Oh,
pretty
there's a jump button. Well, god damn it. Ignore everything I just said.
straightforward end-level boss, a towering giant spawned after a Juliet clone ripped
Looking at it though, I still don't think there's aerial combat.
her own head off and threw it into a campfire, I would have missed the metric ton of new stuff that drops right after that, and that gives Romeo so many more toys to work
Badges. Passives, I'm guessing?
with. After flying back to HQ to report a job well done, I could buy more and different weapons, all which add their own sort of approach to regular combat and could be swapped between in the
Okay, so we have gauntlets, we have a spear, we got rifles. I'm liking it so far.
field. I don't think the melee weapons forced me to change my playstyle in a way a heavy greatsword, set of robot gauntlets, and a spear that split into dual blades should, but the range weapons did. The pistol, shotgun, rocket launcher, and machine gun all forced me to work around their strengths way differently if I was going to choose to lean on them. Romeo is a dead man's weirdest and best feature, though, are the bastards. Zombies that you can grow like plants that have special abilities that you can equip to use in battle, like one that spits poison or one that blows itself up on enemies. This gives you so many more ways to control crowds and can keep your offense effective against a cohort of bad guys that also grow more deadly. Basic foes with guns, at least on the 3 out of 4 difficulty I was playing on, provided a significant jump in danger when they repeatedly shot at me while being tucked behind or more deadly. Basic foes with guns, at least on.
Okay, so by holding the touchpad, it'll show you the available weapons, and it seems like we got 4 weapons that are going to be available to us, which is the katana, greatsword, dual wield, which turns to a spear, and the gauntlets. So probably also 4 weapon types, possibly handgun, shotgun, rifle, and rocket launcher. My guess, rocket launcher.
The 3 out of 4 difficulty I was playing on, provided a significant jump in danger when they repeatedly shot at me while being tucked behind hordes of zombies. Mix that with the spicier sort of mutants that ram you with their giant tomato heads or scorpion-shaped bomb blobbers that leave toxic trails, and any given scenario could become a death trap. Even the second boss, a giant mutant head you fight between 2 floors of a mall food court, is a huge step up in quality from the first.
So that's dope. I like it when you have like large enemies and you can use the environment to make the fight easier, and it's not just like, oh, wait until he slams his hands down and then you can attack his hands. You know, it's like you can wait for him to slam his hands down, or you can use your brain, go to the second floor, and then cause damage over there.
Now, it's a pretty old school action game. There aren't many nuanced mechanics like dodge cancels. There's not even a parry or a block, at least in the beginning. But I enjoyed the relatively simple push and pull of each stage with the systems that exist quite a lot, even if the camera became a monster on its own. With everything properly in frame, things still get very busy on the screen very quickly, mostly due to the truly egregious levels of blood and particle effects that come off of enemies as you slash them up. Mix that with text bubbles that pop up from characters trying to give you some unvoiced dialogue, usually right in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, that text should be like at the top right corner or something, not in the middle of the screen. That's very annoying. A clear oversight.
And it can be hard to focus on the task at hand. Sometimes, despite itself, Romeo is a Dead Man is shaping up to be a frantic action romp worthy of the Grasshopper manufacturer pedigree. Its somewhat traditional action mechanics don't really test your reflexes and make an underwhelming first impression, but does pay off patience when rewarding good positioning and smart use of your bastard skills to get a leg up on the more eccentric enemies.
Honestly, I feel like that's the same for every single action game I've ever played. You start off, your character is very limited, and you upgrade. So that kind of feels like a non-complaint to me. Or a person who's not used to playing action games.
That's the first chapter. It's crazy throughout, using strong humor and marvelous art direction at a breakneck speed to make its truly bonkers space-traveling love story one worth patiently waiting until next year for. For more previews of the biggest upcoming games, don't miss our recent hands-on looks at Neo 3 and Outward 2. And for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN.
I'm excited. I've been excited for Romeo as a Dead Man. I'm gonna keep being excited for Romeo as a Dead Man. Yeah, no, the game looks fantastic. I do feel a little dumb for going on that rant about how there's no jump button and how the game differentiates itself by not having a jump. But it doesn't seem like we're gonna be getting a full-on aerial combat. I'm thinking we're gonna get something closer to Elden Ring, like you can do a jump heavy, jump light attack. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe, because it puts a smile on my face. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Let's hit 500 subs.